Win. Spurs win. Spurs win 2 in a row. How about that? Woo!
Always free curbside.
Woo! Go Spurs, go.
Get selective with the seafood. Choose the choices cut.
2 in a row. Spurs are on a roll. It's a beautiful thing.
Bringing the best to your door, no store does more. Download the My HEB app today and start shopping at HEB, where curbside is always free.
Do a little segment here. That's Michael Bartlett. I'm Chris Duel. It's always nicer when the Spurs win. And that's what we are celebrating here tonight. Spurs win 116-99 over the Washington Wizards. John Williams, Travis, Ofa Lynn from Singapore, David, James, welcome.
Spurs with Washington Wizards. We're very pleased to be joined by assistant coach Becky Hammond. And
Becky Hammond, Spurs assistant coach with Bill right now.
Is it to you? Give me the ID.
Score 71 points. Over his offensive coordinator in the second half.
Well, I think they took over. Yeah, I mean, nice to see the ball go into the basket, especially from three. Derek got it rolling a little bit.
Taro Kotani
contributed. I thought even Lonnie, who didn't shoot the ball well tonight, I thought impacted the game in the second half defensively in a positive way. So we buckled down defensively, which helps with our pace. So pace is important for us.
You look at the fast break point, 17-0. So did you feel like the pace was to your advantage, especially when you look at that number?
Yeah, I mean, you get stops. You gave yourself a chance to, get out and run. You don't want to go against a set defense.
Hi, Joanne.
And I thought our guys, they moved it well. They always share it. But I thought defensively we got more physical in the second half. And it showed. Shut down the paint a little bit better, especially in pick and rolls. I thought the adjustments were good and the guys went out there and executed.
And Becky, you didn't force that many turnovers, only 7 for the night, but you took advantage of the turnovers, cashing in 13 points off those 7 turnovers.
Yeah, I mean, typically we turn people over, but that's a team that plays very safe, not a high turnover team. But I thought doing a number on the boards gave us an opportunity to get out and run and get some easy ones for sure.
How valuable is that leadership that Thaddeus Young brings off the bench? And talk for just a moment about his contribution tonight.
I mean, he doesn't play the whole game.
Get back, Bill Brendel.
There and said, go do something. And, he's the ultimate pro. And he always stays ready. He has always a great understanding of the game plan, a very good understanding of the league. He's been around. And so, he's talking to the guys all the time, always involved in the huddles and stuff. So he's been a really great addition for us and somebody that I know our young guys look to, for his eyes and his ears and his skill set for sure, because he's different than any other post player that we have.
Yeah, he can do a lot of different things. Obviously, he's a very good passer on the high post as well. Becky, before we let you go, just wanted to ask about this upcoming road trip. Obviously, you're playing 2 of the top 3 teams in the Western Conference when you go out there. Just your thoughts on the fact that you got a little momentum going now to the road. Just your thoughts on this upcoming trip.
Well, I think,
Lucinda Sullivan.
They play hard, they play together, and I think when you do that, we always think we have a chance when we step out on the course. So it doesn't matter who we're facing. It's got to be about our habits and in our commitment to, play harder and execute more of the 48 than the other team. Hopefully we hit some shots. It always helps to hit shots. And if we hit some shots, I like our chances. We'll go out there, and I know we'll compete, which is the most important.
Yeah, we look forward to it. Becky, thank you very much for the time. We appreciate that. And again, congratulations on the win.
Yeah, thanks.
Becky Hammond, assistant coach for the Spurs, 116-99, the final score of the Spurs with the win over the Washington Wizards. And right now, let's check back in with our man at Spurs Radio Net Center, Chris Duel.
Thank you so much, Bill. Great interview with Coach Becky Hammond. Right now, it is the top of the hour, so let's pause 10 seconds to allow stations to identify themselves along the Spurs radio network.
News Radio 1200 WOAI, San Antonio's breaking news and weather.
Once again, the final score, the San Antonio Spurs defeat the Washington Wizards 116-99. 8 other games in the NBA this evening. Let's take a quick look at the NBA scoreboard. Bulls beat the Hornets 133-119. It was the Rockets over the Thunder 102-89. Timberwolves beat the Pacers 100-98. Cavs over the Mavericks, 114-96. In progress right now. Jazz leading the Trailblazers, 112-97. That's midway fourth quarter. We also have another game just underway in Los Angeles. Clippers, an early 33-16 lead late first quarter over the Clippers. Pelicans over the Clippers, 33-16. Two other finals. Sixers beat the Magic 101-96, and the Nuggets beat the Heat 120-111. Programming note on the flagship station, Spurs Radio 1200 WOAI, and streaming live video on 1200 WOAI's Facebook and Twitter pages. Our Spurs React with Michael Bartlett and myself is coming at you in moments after a quick wrap-up from Bill Schoening at the AT&T Center, where the Spurs won their second game in a row tonight. They beat the Washington Wizards 116-99. Spurs Radio continues in a moment.
Spurs assistant coach Becky Hammond on this.
Woo! There you go, Arthur Butler. Spurs in 6. Yes, we're back. We're back, baby. Spurs are back.
What do you want to do next?
Yes. Woo! Sergio Lozano, Ginger Clattenburg Hicks, welcome in. Ginger says, great game. In all caps, go Spurs, go. Ofa Lynn joins us from Singapore. Taro Kotani joins us from Tokyo. Travis, Rubiana, James, Michael Rodriguez, hola.
Choose the choices cut beef and gather your groceries galore. Because when it comes to
Eloy T. Arena, what is up?
no store does more.
Seeing a lot of Spurs fans I recognize in here tonight. Very cool. Nice to get 2 in a row. Let's go for 3 in a row on Thursday night. Blazers, by the way, losing tonight in Salt Lake City, 116-99. Blazers will fall to 10-11.
Teaching grandma how to video call.
Brian Birdie, a 2-1 road trip.
Okay, your other left.
I'll take that, Brian. Brian Birdie, a huge Spurs fan. Very cool.
AT&T may temporarily slow data speeds if the network is busy. Restrictions and exceptions may apply.
The senior director of broadcasting is Mike.
Here's Bill Schoening doing his rap.
Traffic along with Leo Resendez, our broadcast engineer, Sam Walters, our statistician, Walter Stoops. Next game of the Spurs at Portland. That's a 9 o'clock tip on Thursday evening. We will be on the air at 8:30 with Spurs Radio Game Night. And as always, for all things Spurs, you can follow us on Twitter, Spurs.com, or the Spurs app. Our studio producer this evening, Mike Bartlett, our studio host, Chris Duel. Thank you for joining us this evening. Again, the final score, the Spurs over the Wizards, 116-99. This has been a presentation of Spurs Sports and Entertainment and the National Basketball Association. All rights reserved. Good night, everybody.
Spurs Radio
All right.
Game Night Rewind.
Here we come now with
By AT&T.
Spurs React on the radio. Christian Picardo, Sergio Lozano. Welcome, welcome.
With Orchard, you never have to worry about losing your dream home to the competition.
Rubiana, that's a great question. I do not know when Doug McDermott will be back. I haven't seen and you know, the Spurs, the way they do injury reports, they don't give you a lot of prophecy on that. You know, quite often when a player is back, when you find out that player is back. Although, you know, sometimes, like with Jakob Poeltl when he was out, we heard Pop say a couple of times, we hope to have Jakob back in the next game or so. There's Doris. Hello, Doris. Doris, a big Spurs fan, both Austin Spurs and San Antonio Spurs. Jeffrey Rodriguez says Josh Primo looks good. Keep him in. You know, Brett Barry was on Spurs Vice President of Basketball Operation. He's talking to me now. Hang on. Can you say that again? I was talking.
What are you looking at here as far as to go to
10. Yeah, 15.
Okay.
Yeah, 10 total, 15.
No highlight. I'm waiting to
Okay.
record.
Are you good to go?
I'm waiting to record him.
So we won't know?
I'll give you a thumbs up if nothing else.
All right. Here we come. That's what I'm talking about. 2 in a row. How about that? Whoa! We celebrate that tonight. You know, it took until, what is this, November 29th for the Spurs to win 2 in a row. But it was against a very good Washington Wizards team, a team that was 13-7 coming in. We said this throughout the start of this season, that this young Spurs team would eventually find a way to close out games and win them. And they've done that 2 in a row now against 2 very good teams in the Boston Celtics on Friday night and the Washington Wizards tonight at the AT&T Center. Welcome in. This is Spurs React on Spurs Radio 1200 WOAI. I'm Chris Duel, along with Michael Bartlett, as we celebrate the Spurs 116-99 victory tonight over the Washington Wizards at the AT&T Center. Lots of ways you can get in touch with us and lots of ways you can participate with Spurs React. First of all, you can do it the old-fashioned way, and I'm an old-fashioned guy, so I like that. You can dial us up on the phone lines, 210-737-1200 if you're anywhere in San Antonio. If you're outside San Antonio, we still pay for the phone call. There's an 800 number. It's 800-383-WOAI. That's 800-383-9624 numerically. That's the way we've been doing it on React for decades and decades. However, lots of people now join us on the live video feed, and there's a few ways you can access that. Most notably, there's a live video feed of Spurs React on 1200 WOAI's Facebook page and Twitter page. And already some of our international friends have joined us. Ofa Lin joins us from Singapore. Taro Kotani, the greatest international Spurs fan from Tokyo, Japan, who has traveled to San Antonio 16 times to see his San Antonio Spurs. It would have been up to like 18 if it wasn't for the pandemic, because he planned on coming a couple of times in 2020. But seeing a lot of Brian Birdie, seeing a lot of Spurs fans we recognize, Lucinda Sullivan, Doris, who's a huge Austin Spurs and San Antonio Spurs fan. So great to see everybody on Facebook Live. Phone lines are already lighting up. So let me just say a few things about this game, and we'll go to the phone lines, and we'll just open it up to you. One big factor in this game, Derek White in the second half tonight. Derek White scored 20 of his 24 points in the second half. Derek White was on fire in the second half. That's what you need to do. You need a guy to take over and be a force to be reckoned with when it's money time, when the game's on the line in the second half. Against the Celtics, it was DeJounte Murray. And, oh, by the way, DeJounte had 22 tonight. DeJounte was on fire again. And not only did DeJounte Murray have 22, which was the second highest score of the night to Derek White's 24, DeJounte Murray led the Spurs in plus-minus at a plus 20. When DeJounte was on the floor, the Spurs outscored the Washington Wizards by 20 points. No other Spur with a higher plus-minus. Keldon Johnson, a plus 18, which was huge. Nobody else near that stratosphere than DeJounte Murray at a plus 20 and Keldon Johnson at a plus 18. Let's turn it over to you. Let's grab some phone calls. And Michael Bartlett, we'll just go in order here. We'll start off with Morgan as the Spurs beat the Washington Wizards 116-99. Morgan, you're on Spurs React on Spurs Radio 1200 WOAI. Go ahead, Morgan.
Yeah, I like the good team win. Like the Spurs, Derek White and DeJounte Murray play well. And if we can have this performance like this in every game, it's supposed to be a tough team to beat. And hope the defense travels on the road.
Morgan, great phone call. Thank you. We're going to find out on Thursday. It's a huge test. Portland's a very, very good team. Portland losing tonight at Salt Lake City, but they're certainly tougher at the road at the Moda Center. But, yeah, that'll be a great test for the Spurs Thursday night in Portland. Can they win a big one on the road? Can they win 3 in a row? Back to the phone lines we go. And Ken, as the Spurs beat the Washington Wizards 116-99. Ken, you're on Spurs Radio 1200 WOAI. Welcome, Ken.
What's going on, Chris? Long time no talk, man.
Welcome in.
Hey, look, we all knew this coming in, man. We lost three big guys that provided scoring. We knew someone going to step up at some point. So if DJ can hold himself to what he said in his interview after the game a couple weeks ago and can continue to hold everybody else to that same standard, it's a process. It's going to take time, and that's what I've been telling a lot of people that are getting kind of irritated with what we're seeing. If we can see performances such as this, and these guys can continue to learn how to close games out and maintain large leads that we've seen them blown early on, I think we'll be all right. There's nothing to get too chaotic about at this point.
Ken, great call as always. We appreciate your call. And you brought up DeJounte Murray. You know, I mentioned his 22 points and his plus 20 and the plus minus. I did not mention his 10 rebounds, his 8 assists, nearly another triple-double for DeJounte Murray. 2 games in a row when it mattered against very good teams. Boston on Friday night, Washington tonight. DeJounte Murray was the man with 22 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists tonight. Back to the phone lines we go to Eloy. Eloy, you're on Spurs React on 1200 WOAI. Welcome, Eloy.
What is up, Chris?
Hey, man.
You've been saying it all year long. You've been saying they're ahead of schedule. And when you say that, I know that you mean it doesn't mean they're ahead of schedule. Like they might make the playoffs. They're just getting better and better and better. From games 1 through 5 to now, game 19-20, they've gotten so much better, and they're going to continue to get better. They might lose the next 6 in a row. But the bottom line is, as Spurs fans, we can't, the highs can't be too high, the lows can't be too low. No matter what happens, these kids are getting better. They're learning to close games. The Boston game, this game, just exciting to watch these young guys just continue to learn under Coach Pop, and we'll call it Professor Pop as they continue to learn this season. Have a good one, brother.
Hey, man, look, that is such a great phone call, Eloy. Thank you so much. I love it when a Spurs fan gets it. And what Eloy understands, and a lot of Spurs fans do understand. I just see the whiners on social media and on Spurs Twitter who don't get it, who just want to whine and complain and don't understand what's going on here. Eloy gets it. This team is ahead of schedule. This team is getting better every game, and it is evidenced by the last 2 quality wins against very good Eastern Conference opponents in the Boston Celtics and the Washington Wizards. And as Eloy said, it's not always going to show up on the final scoreboard. I mean, it's starting to now. The last 2 games it did, but this is a young team. This is the youngest team Greg Popovich has ever coached. So that is relying more and more on Greg Popovich, Becky Hammond, Mitch Johnson, Chip England, this entire Spurs staff to teach this young Spurs team how to win consistently in the NBA, and they are on the road to doing that. One more phone call, and then I'll see if Michael Bartlett can join us. We love Veronica's phone calls. Veronica is a huge Spurs fan. Veronica, you are on 1200 WOAI. How you doing, Veronica?
I'm doing great. I hope I can talk tomorrow. I had the best time at the game. I'm just so proud of the way the team's coming together. Pop gave Primo some minutes twice. At the end of the game, he was going to put in Joe and Jock and the other new guy. I forgot his name. I know it's CAC, okay, or something like that. But anyway, I think Pop's, he was switching up the lineup a lot tonight, and I think that was to get the players used to playing with each other more. And I think it was working for the most part. But, yeah, you're right. You could tell the difference when DJ wasn't on the floor and when Jakob wasn't on the floor. But Agnes being in there made a big difference, too. So it's all coming together. We knew it would. We had faith in the Spurs. We had faith in Pop. We trust in them. So go Spurs, go. I think they're going to win at least one of these 3. So let's go.
Let's go, Veronica. We love your phone calls. Veronica goes to darn near every Spurs game. She is a hardcore, passionate Spurs fan. And again, just like Eloy, the call before, and all those calls tonight, knows what the Spurs are about. It knows what's going on with this young team, that they are getting better game by game, week by week, month by month, and just enjoy watching this young team mature. Let me check in with Michael Bartlett. I know he's doing a lot of post-production work. Michael, you free to jump in here with a couple of Spurs comments? Here he is. He makes the show go from beginning to end. He's the Mr. Rogers of Sports Talk Radio. It's always a beautiful day in his neighborhood. Michael Bartlett, 2 in a row, baby. How does it feel to you?
What's that old saying that you say? 2 out of 3 ain't bad?
Meatloaf, baby. Yes.
It was definitely a tale of 2 quarters, or a tale of 2 halves tonight. The first half was just abysmal for not just the Spurs, but the Wizards as well. It was low scoring, 20-20. I mean, we say low scoring because in this modern days NBA, 30 points in a quarter is basically low scoring. So anything below that is extremely below. But 20-20 at the first quarter, and just they shoot 42% from the field in the first half, and then decide to, I don't know, have a bowl of Wheaties maybe during halftime. I don't know if Pop gave them some magic Olympics gold juice. I don't know. They shot lights out the second half, 64% from the field. So it was a tale of two halves. And the same for Derek White. Derek White was, and I'm being generous, was not very good the first half. He had 4 points in the first half, and then exploded for right now a career high points in a quarter with 18 in that third quarter, and that's what just completely blew the doors off. DeJounte doing what DeJounte's doing, like you stated, another darn near triple-double. And again, Spurs fans, if he is in the running for All-Star, let's not just, oh yeah, DeJounte deserves to be an All-Star. Make your point known. Do the voting, do everything, make it known. Don't just sit there and say, oh yeah, he does. But I truly believe he is, without a doubt, at least most improved player of the year. From last year to this year, easily the most improved player of the year. He could have very well, we all love DeMar here. From what DeJounte was last year, he could have regressed, because now that it's quote-unquote DeJounte's team, even though it was DeJounte's team when DeMar is here, DeMar was the closer, without a doubt. DeJounte is starting to step up. In the last game you saw, he was turning into the closer. DeJounte is the head of the stake. As DeJounte goes, the team goes. The bench, for the most part, was pretty non-existent until that fourth quarter. Thaddeus Young doing what Thaddeus Young, as a wily veteran, did and does, drop 10. You got to see Josh Primo score for 2 threes. Trey Jones, Bryn got going in that fourth quarter. But the thing that sticks out to me was they only had 10 turnovers, but they had 7 in the first half. So you only get 3 in that second half. Granted, they didn't force a lot of turnovers. Like Becky Hammond stated, they're not a team that's very, the Washington Wizards aren't very loose with the ball. So they capitalized on not making mistakes, as young teams normally will. They didn't make a lot of mistakes tonight. They didn't get 3-ball happy, which we've seen at times. They'll shoot great from the field, 51%, and then shoot 10% or 15% from three-point range. Only 8 of 18 tonight. They didn't get desperate with the three. Washington shoots 31 threes and only makes 29%. It was a gritty win and a gritty game for the Spurs all in all. Being able to completely block out that first half of really just not making a lot of buckets, and then turning it on that third quarter when they dropped 39. Just a good game all in all, and hopefully, this will continue to keep them going. We haven't seen a 3-game winning streak since last year. Nothing much more than that. But how would you feel if you're a Washington Wizard? You haven't won against the Spurs at home since '99.
Yeah, in the Spurs home. Yeah.
It's one of those just oddball facts. It's just, that's ridiculous. And granted, yes, Tim, Tony, Manu, but Bradley Beal is a very good player. And the defense tonight held him to 18 points on 8 of 21 shooting. So the Spurs defense stepped it up again, for those who say the Spurs don't play defense. Just another gritty win. And, like Bryn said in pregame, they're not going to get too high. They're definitely not getting low on some of these losses. They know they're competing. They're in pretty much darn near every game. It's just figuring out how to close games. And tonight, they were able to turn that third quarter basically into closing the game. They turned it around, got it going. So hopefully come Thursday against Portland, we can make it 3 in a row.
Yeah, Michael mentions that third quarter, Spurs scored 39 points in the third quarter. That is a season high for any quarter for the Spurs. They have not scored 39 points in any single quarter this season. That was a tremendous third quarter, as Michael mentions. Once again, the final score, Spurs beat the Washington Wizards 116-99. As Michael mentions, they're going to try for 3 in a row on Thursday night in hostile territory at the Moda Center in Portland. That's a 9 o'clock tip. So that means we'll be here with you 8:30 on Thursday night for Spurs Radio Game Night with the voice of the San Antonio Spurs, Bill Schoening. We certainly thank the great Bill Schoening for another masterful call tonight in his 21st year as the radio voice of the San Antonio Spurs. Also want to thank on-site engineer, Mr. Sam Walters, veteran statistician Walter Stoops, always doing a bang-up job. And the man you just heard from, Michael Bartlett, makes the entire broadcast go from the very beginning until the very end, and he's usually staying even after that to do some post-production work with highlights and more. So thanks to all those gentlemen. For all those gentlemen, I'm Chris Duel. Once again, the final score, Spurs win 2 in a row for the first time this season. They beat the Washington Wizards at the AT&T Center 116-99. You've been listening to Spurs React on Spurs Radio 1200 WOAI. All right, y'all. I got to get up early. I'll see you on my show, 6 a.m. We stream video like this. Patty Larson. There's the great Patty Larson.
Whether or not you're vaccinated, you need an
Patty Larson, not just a Spurs fan. She's also a fan-a-low, as am I. Fan of Barry Manilow. All right, y'all, I got to get out of here. I got to wake up in 5 hours and do a morning show. 6 to 9 a.m. on Ticket 760. We'll talk a lot of Spurs. We have Bill Schoening on every Wednesday, by the way, at 8:05 a.m. And I know tomorrow's Taco Tuesday, but on Wednesday, Bill will be on at 8:05. We'll talk a lot of Spurs with Shannon Salty Sweeney and me. The great Jeremy Kolak are going to join us as well tomorrow. So Jason Salinas says good night. Rayson says aloha. And I will say aloha. And the great Brian Birdie with the final word on the screen there. Huge Spurs fan, Brian Birdie. Thanks, everybody, for being here. Spurs win 2 in a row. Let's make it 3 in a row on Thursday night. Go Spurs, go. In Pop we trust. See you in the morning on Ticket 760. Thanks.